Hey guys, welcome to the Craftalorian channel, and today we are unboxing and reviewing this Clone Lieutenant Galle Black Series figure. So, let's get to it. Alright, so here we have the box, and as you can see, it's number 3 in the line, Revenge of the Sith, and here we have on the side the cool art of the character itself. It's really cool. Here's the back with more of the art up close and the description, so you guys can pause and read that. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all for this packaging. So I'm gonna get this guy out and then I'll show you guys the accessories and all the cool stuff with this figure. Alright, getting this guy out of his packaging and messing with him for a little bit, I gotta say, this is probably the best clone figure the Black Series has ever made. There is a lot of cool details and changes up with this figure compared to all the other clones that is really cool, and I think it's a mix of all the cool stuff that we've been getting with all the clones and a whole lot more improvements. So let's get into looking at this guy. Starting off with accessories, this guy comes with the standard clone blaster that usually all the other clones get, and this is the one that he ended up using in the movie, and also came with these pistols that you can put in the holster and are movie accurate, which is really cool. Other than that, this figure doesn't really come with a lot of accessories, which it doesn't really need to, because this guy was really just in the background for the movie during the Order 66 scene, so I can't really complain about that. And I think we'll start up here with the top with the newly sculpted helmet. This helmet is amazing. It's still one of those removable helmets that has a clone face underneath, but the sculpting is way better than what it was before. Here, if I were to compare it, here's one of the older ones from the past couple of years. This is what all these clone helmets have been looking like, and this is the new one. I gotta say, the new one looks fantastic and way more movie accurate than whatever this one was. I think they tried mixing animated and live action because these were marketed as like Clone Wars figures, but if you're gonna make live action clone figures, you should stick with live action and not have a weird hybrid. But yeah, gotta say, the visor, the mouth, and the proportions look way better. And there's some cool sculpting details that they ended up changing with this helmet. Like, it's hard to see, but all these black lines, right? Which I didn't know they were black. I think they're meant to be blue, but the images I've seen, they have it as black. So on the other clones it would be blue, but I think Galle's specifically had like black for some reason. Could have just been the lighting of the photos though. But these lines are actually sculpted in, which is really cool and makes it a whole lot easier to customize and paint. So that's really awesome. And they actually do have the little back piece here sculpted in and the little symbol on this little cap at the back, which is really cool. I didn't know if they're actually going to sculpt that in or not, but if I gave this thing a black wash, you'd be able to see it a whole lot better. And also the black brow, of course, which is really good, because sometimes a lot of companies have decided to not include the black brow, which is really weird. So yeah, but gotta say, this helmet is definitely an improvement. I think the only weird thing about this helmet is the flatness of the dome, but I think that's due to the fact of how they sculpted the helmet to be a little bit wider on the side profile, just so it can fit onto a person's head, which is fine. It just looks a little wonky. And I'll do some more comparisons of this helmet later on, because it's really cool. Anyways, moving on to the pauldron. The pauldron right here is movie accurate, which is really cool, and it looks really good. It's a lot better than them using the animated pauldrons, which wouldn't be accurate for these, for the movie appearance, which is really cool. And they got all the cool details on here, and they got this painted brown, which is interesting. But like, if you look more at the image, it's kind of different, but I can fix that with paint, which is really cool. This is on the 2023 body, so you have a bicep swivel. You have the shoulder pads on an O-ring, and the knee pads are kind of free floating, which is really cool. And there aren't really too many new sculpts other than the helmet and the pauldron. But there is also a new sculpt and a different way they've done this with the belt. This belt is newly sculpted, and interestingly enough, they went fully accurate with the movie by changing the holster placement. Normally, they have it on this box, but in the movies, it's on this box. And you can really see this when looking at the old Bly figure, that they normally put it right here, but they changed it to be accurate to the movie, which is really cool. And they also gave us a cloth comma, which is nice. I think it would have been way better than trying to do a plastic one because the traffic cone issue, and that kind of limits articulation. But yeah, they got all really good sculpt. I mean, this is the 2023 body, so there's a lot of good articulation. But yeah, I think they pretty much nailed the details. I'll go into stuff that they missed in the praises and nitpicks section of this video. But yeah, this figure looks really cool, and I'll show you the articulation of this guy. Alright, starting off with the head, he can look down a little bit, and he can look up a bit. It's kind of hard if I end up removing the helmet, but yeah. You can also tilt a little bit. You can change the positioning of the neck with this figure, and it can give you different articulation. So if you twist it around, you might end up being able to bend it down more or bending it up more. But yeah, it's pretty much for the head articulation. Swivel all the way around with the O-ring, so you can go up to there, go down. Bicep swivel, of course. Elbows go up to here, which is really cool, above 90. And then you have an up and down wrist peg. But I'm going to show you the different arms, so that way, the articulation with this. Luckily, this pauldron is a free floating piece, so there's not too much trouble. It can go up all the way up here. You can swivel it around mostly without issue. And bicep swivel, above 90, of course. Interestingly enough, there's more of a cutout on this hand than it is on this hand. They're the same hand, but this for some reason has a bigger cutout at the top, so you can break his wrist, because I don't think I've seen someone bend their hand this far, which is pretty crazy. Anyways, moving down, ab crunch, go down here, go up a little bit, tilt, and swivel. His legs go out to there, and he's got a thigh swivel. So normally you can go up to here, but if you swivel the thigh, it goes up to here, which is nice. And then the knee has a swivel too, and it can bend a little bit above 90. You can adjust the knee pad to look as natural as you want, which is really cool. And obviously you have the foot bent down that way, bent up this much, and rocker ankle action. So yeah, that's all for the articulation of this figure. Moving on to comparison, here is the new Lieutenant Galle next to Commander Bly, which I think, interestingly enough, Galle might be a little bit taller. Oh yeah, he's taller. Interesting. I mean, this is an older sculpt, but this is one of the better sculpts of the old body. But yeah, they look really cool together. The yellows are different. This is kind of a darker yellow compared to this one, which is a lot more brighter. And yeah, I think they look really cool together. And I think the color of the plastic mostly matches. This is more of like a yellowish white color. It's kind of an off-white. So that's going to be a little bit weird when comparing it to all the other clones that people usually have. But other than that, I think it looks really cool with all these other figures, and you can fit them perfectly with Bly. So let's move on. Next up is the Phase 1, which right here you can really see the plastic color difference. So yeah, this one is definitely a different color compared to this one right here. And this is the Phase 1 with the 2023 body, so it has all of the same articulation and stuff. And yeah, it's really cool how you're able to display these guys next to each other. And it's cool to see that you could, all the different accessories that the Lieutenant Galle has compared to a regular clone. And I think the details that they did add was really cool and pretty accurate. All right, and here is a clone from Jedi Fallen Order game. This is, I believe, the 13th Battalion. If I'm wrong, I'll put a correction in the video. But here he is, and this is the 2020 body, I believe. I think that's what the sculpt is called, the 2020 body. So you don't have the bicep articulation, and the shoulder pads are glued to the bicep here. So when you do put it up, it kind of scrunches the shoulder, which wasn't really a good thing, and the knees were connected up here, so it looked a little bit weird when you tried to do a kneeling down pose. But thanks to the new sculpting, that's not that much of an issue. But if you still wanted to display it with clones with this kind of body, then I think it still looks good with them. And I'm glad that Hasbro has been able to improve the body, and as you can see, they finally improved the helmet. That was a big thing I was complaining about for a while. So I'm glad that they're making some improvements, and I hope that Hasbro ends up using this helmet more rather than this one. And the final comparison that I have right here is one of the latest clone figures from earlier this year, Commander Cody. And I think it looks really cool. These guys, I think, look awesome together. And Cody does have a newer helmet that looks way different from all the previous clones, but it is not the same as this helmet, which is really interesting and potentially pretty accurate. I'll get into that part next, but yeah, I gotta say, these guys look really cool together. And hopefully they make a new Commander Bly, so that way you can have all your commanders next to each other. So yeah, it's really cool. And I'm gonna move on to the next section. All right, now we're on to some praises and nitpicks about this figure. And first we'll go up with the praises. This figure, I love that they gave the Revenge of the Sith pauldron rather than an animated pauldron. They updated the helmet, which was really cool, and they added they got all the details right of the helmet, which is really what I was happy about. And, you know, they were accurate to the movies with the belt and comma, which is really cool, rather than having an animated comma, which there is a difference. And I think the paint applications and stuff is really good, and I'm glad that they stuck with the 2023 body rather than changing it up and continuing with the 2020 body. And yeah, overall this is a really good figure, and it's articulated well, and I think that it's really cool. But also, it's really interesting because this helmet is better than the Cody one, actually. It's hard to tell, but I think you can see the detail in there. But where the black square would be, there is actually that grill line. On the Cody helmet, that's not there at all, which is interesting. And I think the dimensions are a little bit better than on this one compared to this one. But it's not so bad that this helmet is different. Like, you can kind of tell maybe in a little bit of length. But Cody's helmet is meant to be longer and a bit different because in the filming of one of the scenes, Tamir Morrison takes off his helmet, and in order for the model to not look weird when he took the helmet off, they gave him an actual helmet to help out with the scene. It was a Stormtrooper helmet, funnily enough. But they ended up changing the model so that it would fit his head, which is really cool. And it'd be really interesting to see, to make a helmet that is proportionally accurate to this one, but the standard Phase 2. So, yeah. It's not really that bad that those are different, so that's really cool. But I hope Hasbro stays with this helmet rather than the trash helmet that this one was. But I think that's all for the praises, so let's move on to the nitpicks. Alright, so I do have a couple of nitpicks with this, this figure. If they wanted it to be more accurate, there are some missing paint applications, like the black square in the back that should be there, but it wasn't painted. But there's also another thing that they missed, and that was that there's supposed to be an extra line of yellow on the foot, which the old Commander Bly has, but this one doesn't. So that really sucks, and it would be cooler if they tried to match what this is supposed to look like, but they didn't. They did kind of just paint it one color. Some weathering would have been really cool other than the paint scratches, like, you know, how they have on here. But these are the nitpicks, so if they did change them, it would be cool, but a lot of this stuff you can fix yourself, which I probably will end up doing. And also, there's two more nitpicks. The comma, I looked at it closely. There is like a fabric difference on the border of the comma. Kind of like how there's different colors when you look at the animated shows. But that's kind of like a detail that's easily missable, so more of a nitpick. But one thing that they did end up missing was the fact that he's missing the strap that goes on this bicep, like how Bly has it. You can look at some of the images and you can see that they ended up missing that detail, which I feel like that's based off of potentially the reference photos that they did get, because there is like one image where it's not really easy to tell that he actually has that. So it sucks that they missed it, but I could probably just buy a resin printed one and put that on there. So yeah, those are really the only nitpicks I have. So other than that, I think that's it with this video. Alright, so I think that's gonna be it for this video. This figure is really cool, and I'm really happy for all the changes that they ended up doing for this figure to make it more accurate to the movies. And like I said a bunch of times in this video, I really hope that Hasbro ends up using this helmet as the standard, and it would be really cool to see if potentially use this pauldron, obviously without the little belt strap thing for characters that don't have it, but it would be cool for them to use this sculpt for other figures as well, rather than an animated pauldron. And yeah, I think this figure is really cool, and while there is some like customizing things that I would probably have to do to make it more accurate to the movie, if you want the figure just how it is, I'd say go for it. This is like the best figure, I'd say, out of the line right now. And honestly, I couldn't be happier about this figure. It's really cool, and yeah, I think this is a good pickup. Actually, one last thing before I end this video. I did get another one of these figures, and I found out that the one that I got for this review was actually kind of a bit messed up with the pauldron and potentially the helmet shape. You can see the differences between the two. The one on the right is the actual one that you're supposed to get. So I thought that was interesting. And it honestly looks way better, and it makes the articulation for that shoulder a lot better. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that in case anyone notices the differences and be like, why does it look like that? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So if you like this video, comment, give it a like, and hit the notification bell for when I eventually make videos. I know I haven't been making too many videos recently, but that's just kind of been like a bunch of stuff going on. But I am working on stuff. I am. Even if it's slowly due to my poor motivation. But I am working on stuff. So, until next time, I'll see you guys later, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.